Everyone knows that retro games can be crazy expensive these days, but have you ever wondered what the highest priced home console titles are from the NES to the Switch? In today's video, we're going to find out. First up is the good old Nintendo Entertainment System, and it should come as no surprise that the most expensive game is none other than the Nintendo World Championships 1990, a game that was only ever used during the Nintendo World Championships contest. Actually 3 games in one, it featured Super Mario Bros., Rad Racer, and Tetris. Rather than the standard Mario Bros. You probably have at home, it was a challenge game that asked the player to collect 50 coins in the shortest time possible. As per contest rules, the games were time limited to a maximum of 6 minutes and 21 seconds apiece, though this could be changed by adjusting a series of physical dip switches on the cartridge itself. There are plenty of reproduction carts of this game available on sites like eBay, but if you want to get your hands on the authentic one, its current market value is roughly $22,000 according to pricecharting.com. That being said, there are stories of copies being bid on for sums in the 6 figures, and a few graded listings are for sale for equally ridiculous prices. Moving on to the SNES, we have a similar story with a game called Nintendo Power Fest 94. This was another competition held by Nintendo in San Diego, California on November 20th, 1994. It also featured a special game cartridge that contained 3 games for players to compete with. They were Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, Super Mario Kart, and Home Run Derby from Ken Griffey Jr. Major League Baseball. The challenges to the contestants were as follows. 1. Finish the first level. 2. Finish 5 laps. And 3. Hit as many home runs as you can. Only 32 copies of the cartridge were made, which wasn't even enough to give one to each of the contestants playing. Currently, there are only 2 known to have survived, while the other 31 were disassembled by Nintendo for parts after the competition. As such, it's basically impossible to put a definitive price on this game, but I've seen estimates ranging from $17,000 to $24,000 USD. If you want to learn more about this event, I highly recommend you check out the site snesmaps.com, which was made by one of the winners and owners of said cartridge, who goes into great detail about the competition and game itself. Next up is a slightly more attainable one with the Nintendo 64's Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Don't get too excited though, because it's probably not the version you've got on your shelf, but rather the not-for-sale gray cartridge version of the game. Coming in at around $7,000 US, I'm not sure the average collector could justify this one given it's ultimately the same game as the regular version. The value of GameCube games has been on an absolute tear the past few years, so I feel pretty bad for anyone going for the full set at this point. The top dog here is actually a double pack of Sonic Heroes and Super Monkey Ball. Complete with the box and manual, this bad boy will run you about $4,350 USD. Personally, if you really want to own these titles, I'd suggest buying them separately for your collection as they can both be found for about $20. If you think that a double pack is kind of cheating for this list, and you want to know what the most expensive game is on its own, that would be Pokemon Box, coming in at around $1,200. This wasn't really a game per se, but a way for you to transfer and store your Pokemon from Ruby and Sapphire, Emerald, and Fire Red and Leaf Green on the Game Boy Advance. In North America, it was only sold at the Pokemon Center in New York City. Expensive games probably aren't the first thing that come to mind when you think of the Nintendo Wii. Prices for certain titles are, however, beginning to creep up. As a self-proclaimed connoisseur of the Wii console and its library, I was under the impression that the Atlas title Dokapon Kingdom was the most expensive Wii game. That's apparently no longer the case, and I suspect it has something to do with the somewhat recent re-release of that game on the Nintendo Switch. Now, the most expensive game you can buy is none other than the limited edition version of Club Penguin Game Day. This is particularly amusing to me as I bought the regular version for around $5 and would say that's about what it's worth. Complete in box, the limited edition will set you back about $500. If you're eyeing it right now, allow me to give you a word of caution. Wii game prices are difficult to predict and can be quite volatile. This probably isn't the investment you may think it to be. The most expensive non-special edition game is a music title called Rhythm Heaven Fever, which can be picked up for around $170. Next up, the console that nobody bought, the Wii U. Often touted as one of the easiest consoles to realistically go for a full set, the Wii U only had 164 physical releases in North America. Compare this to the over 4,000 physical releases for the Nintendo Switch, and you can quickly see why. As of writing this script, the most expensive game for the Wii U is the limited edition of Hyrule Warriors, the Dynasty Warriors style Zelda game, coming in at around $2,000. Excluding special editions, the most expensive title is the infamous Devil's Third, coming in at just under $270. A Wii U console exclusive, this action-adventure hack-and-slash shooter was released in North America in December of 2015. Panned by both players and critics alike outside of Japan, it's rumored to have only sold 3,000 copies in its first month in North America. Finally, we come to the current Nintendo console, the Switch. Sitting at the top right now is the signature edition of Gris, a critically acclaimed platform adventure game released in December of 2018, developed by Nomada Studio. This version of the game, which comes with goodies like art books and soundtracks, can be had for around $1,100. Excluding special editions of any kind, the most expensive Switch title is Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, which was published by Limited Run Games. This 2D platform adventure game is currently sitting around $330. So there you have it. Did any of these games surprise you? Do you own anything mentioned in this video? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.